Joining us now is Karl Schilling. He's the founder of the Advocacy Network. Karl, great to have you back on the show.
Oh, it's great to be with you, Don. Thanks so much. Always appreciate it.
Now, we've talked about gold lately and silver. We've talked about oil. This week, you want to talk about real estate. Take the floor.
Sure. Well, thanks. In '07 and '08, we had a bubble that was created due to vacation homes, second homes, and soft money. Money very easily. On the banking side. This bubble's a little different now. What we've got now is a demand issue where we see people like in your neck of the woods, Don. We see Californians who are kind of moving out. They're either going into Arizona, hotter markets, Utah, Florida, which is kind of usually very unusual for Californians to go to Florida. But what happens there is that obviously the real estate values in California have been highly pumped up, right, over time. And normally someone who sells in California leaves with a lot of cash, good equity, and they find themselves an upgrade in a market like Texas or some of that. And the tech movement has gone a lot into Austin, Texas, right? We see that. But here's the problem with that, Don. Sooner or later, as demand dries up, the California market, people won't be able to sell because the demand will have dried up, right? And as that demand dries up, the abilities for the people who've overpaid now in these other markets because of the competition, they're now going to be sitting in a market that's put them somewhat underwater. And that's when we're going to see, the market sort of come back to its natural position, but it's going to be a little deflated.
Well, it's interesting because right now in California, as you mentioned, if you put your house up for sale for, say, $850,000, you're probably going to sell it for $895,000.
Right, still, because there's still a good demand going on for it. But I've also seen some slowing in Orange County, where it's slowed some. So you can't pick the time, Don. I don't know exactly when it'll happen. It could be 3 months, 6 months. It could be a year. But at some point, when the demand slows on those other markets where people are leaving in the Northeast corridor, the Bostons of the world, New Jersey and New York, when those things slow, those real estate values are going to have to come back down. And then the places they're going to, they pump the real estate values up so high, sooner or later, the income can't handle that market. So that's what I think we're going to start seeing happen.
Well, as you said, people are fleeing high tax states and moving to low tax or no tax states.
Yeah, especially, you're right. Absolutely. And that's a big thing. In Nevada, I don't see as big a movement into Nevada, but that's one of those no tax states. And I do see a lot of activity going on in Wyoming, places like that. They got a lot of property, and a lot of wide open. Particularly now, we're going to talk more about our Ninja Free Agent team through Advocacy, Don, in the coming weeks and months. And, presently a very slow market's Michigan. Michigan's a tougher market. And we have a really nice property, riverfront in Michigan that lends itself to hunting and fishing. Potentially a bed and breakfast kind of setup could be created, a very nice investment property, or for those people who like that style of living, it's a very nice property. So I'd like to be able to promote that property.
Well, it's interesting. I have a friend of mine who's a real estate investor. He's in his early 90s, and he's always said, anytime you're near the water, you're never going to lose.
Yeah. Waterfront property, they're not making any more of it, as the story goes. Although we may see them making more of it in the future, right? With some areas. So. But you're right. Now, riverfront, it's a beautiful property. Hunting and fishing, really rich in that, and I think it's a wonderful place.
It's a great way to spend your mornings drinking coffee, that's for sure.
Yep.
Well, Karl, the Advocacy Network, I know that you've helped people with being a consumer advocate. You've saved people millions and millions of dollars. What's the latest financial scams these days?
Well, I think we're going to start seeing some movement. The old times are always there. We still have a lot of stuff that goes on in the real estate markets, the IRS, right? The IRS scams. But I think you're going to start seeing this COVID vaccine. I got a feeling there's going to be a huge black market created on vaccine passports and things of this nature coming up.
I think you're right. Once
Uh,
again, the Advocacy Network. Karl, always a pleasure having you in the program. Look forward to more interviews with you in the future. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.